do a quick, very quick prayer. Om Ajnanatirandasya Salakaya Sukshmaya Space Gravity. So, how did you guys like the drama? Right? How did you guys like the drama? Kailash drama. Did you guys like it? So, what did you learn from it? See, this is going to be an interactive session. You can ask me any questions, personal questions, drama questions, what am I doing, what you're doing, and all that stuff we can discuss, right? So what did you pick from that? I'm assuming most of you are from first year, second year students, right? Anybody second years? No, all of you are 21 engineering, got into engineering. Right? So who is going to volunteer? What you learned from the drama? Anybody? No? Nobody?
Chanting changed the life of a person.
Chanting changed the life of a person. Okay. Okay.
Save from the enemies and all.
Save from the enemies and all. Okay. Okay. What else? Anybody else? Have you seen such a drama before in your life? No? Okay. Okay. So, but you know why you are all here? What is it you're trying to get out of this session from today? What is that you want to get out of this session? Enjoy. Okay, good. That's good. That's one way of starting any program. What else you want to get out of this session? So why are you here? Like somebody, this is not part of ragging program, right? You're not feeling this is part of ragging, right? No. So I'm just trying to figure out what is that you are expecting out of this session, basically. So one answer. If not, I'm going to pick. They do cold calling in the class. They ask you to, if you don't volunteer, they do cold calling. I'm going to do cold calling. Yellow shirt. Yeah. Will be taught? Which is that you are not, nobody is teaching this thing outside. Right? Right. So the fundamental thing we are looking at is, we'll analyze this drama basically. Right? Today we'll analyze. There are two characters, or probably three characters. Then there is Narada Muni. Then there is human being. So there is somebody from outside this world, right? Spiritual world. We all know Narada goes around, right? He's a spiritual personality. And then there is human being like us, any one of us. And what is that Narada Muni is trying to teach us? Is what we are trying to understand. Basically, what is he trying to teach this person? Chanting. And what is the purpose of chanting? Good energy, positive energy. Okay. So how many of you believe, or how many of you heard the word, beyond my body there is soul? Yes. Anybody here who does not think that beyond our body there is soul? Is there anybody who doesn't think? But it's a very easy concept, especially if you're born in India. In philosophy, they teach you very easily. We are not the body, you are the soul. So we have to be a bit of soul conscious, right? But I'm going to say the same thing. If anybody here who does not believe that, you have to raise your hand. Who does not believe that everybody has a soul, right? You all believe in that or not? But the same idea has to be looked in a different perception. See, this body has a soul. It's very easy to understand. But from the drama, you have to understand it a little bit differently. There is a soul, for that there is a body. I am the body, I have a soul is simpler. I am a body, I have a hand, limb, I have a leg, I have a hair, I have a teeth, and like that. But soul is not be looked like that. There is a soul, that is me. For the soul to exist, it needed a body. Now this is getting little difficult. You understanding the point? What is the difference between both the sentences? I am a body, I have a soul, versus there is the soul, and the soul needed a body. We have seen in this case, the soul of Kailash needed three different bodies. Right? So we have to pick up these things. So there is the soul that is always trying to be helped by Narada. In this case, is being tried to help by Narayana. But the soul here did not give it the priority. Right? And what happened in the process? What happened in the process? It got itself degraded from stage 1 to stage 2, stage 2 to stage 3. Right? If you guys are if you think it's getting complicated, you should stop me at any point. So the goal of our life is the goal of anybody's life. Goal of every soul is only one thing: to avoid these circumstances, to avoid this situation. Agree? You have heard of these things, right? You all have a goal, right? You've joined MGIT, CBIT, some IT, IIT, whatever it. But the goal is you want to get out of it, right? At the end of 4 years, 5 years, you get out of it and you want to get a job, and then what happens after you get a job? You'll be happy? You'll be happy? How long will you be happy? Till the next guy gets a raise better than you. Yes, sir. The moment you see that somebody else has got a better raise, it happens now also, right? Somebody else gets 1 mark better than you. You think you did an exam better than him, but he's getting better mark. This is the nature of the world. This is the nature of the competitive world. See, there are a few things. I'm going to talk about few things here now. Spiritual world and the basic our world, materialistic world, they call it in philosophy, but the world we live in, right? The nature of this world versus the nature of that world, right? So our goal is to switch ourselves from world A to world B. You always want to do the same thing, right? You're below average student, you want to get into the next level of students. Then the next level of students, you want to be the best campus interview person, right? From there, you want to be the best employee. From there, you want to be the best husband, best father. Best husband doesn't exist, but yes, we want to become then you want to do the best father, and then you want to do the best career and all that stuff, right? But at the end of it, what happened? Kailash did the hard work of earning so much for his children. In the process, he never looked at some message that's coming from the spiritual world. The message is constantly coming in the name of and in the form of Narada, right? Agree? So I'll tell you my own personal examples here. When I was of your age, I'm a mechanical engineer, graduated in 1994. Most of you are not born by then, right? I belong to your parents' generation that way. So when I was your age, I was reading a lot of books, a lot of philosophical books. In one of the books I read, how it works. Basically, one of the book in the author of the book, he found his guru. He was sitting on the balcony of his, on the corridor of his house, and then one sadhu came, and the sadhu and this first guy had conversation, and this guy went behind the sadhu. He left his family and went away, like 9-year-old child, 9-10-year-old kid. And then he became a sadhu and sannyasi. He did meditation in Himalayas, and he did a lot of. Post that he came back, he did his what he call doctorate in Benares Hindu University in Sanskrit, and he became a big scholar and all that stuff, and he became a big yoga guru later on in his life. When I read that book, I was thinking, if I also sit in the corridor, I will find somebody like this. But it never happened. It never happened in my life. But in Kailash's life, he was lucky that it happened. Then subsequently, when I came to yours, this is what this first book of this sannyasi I was reading. In the first book, I read this. Subsequently, I was reading a few more books. Then I went to third year, fourth year engineering. In this one of his books, he writes, "The guru is always there. It's just that you are not ready for it." That's a sentence that taught me. What is this being ready? What is this being ready? It said, when you are ready, the guru comes. It's just that you're not identifying. The moment you are ready for it, the Guru is there. So now my quest or my thirst for searching for a Guru to, how can I be ready for a Guru? It transformed to a different stage now. So what is that I can do to that I'll find a Guru? The thought was there in the background, but probably I did not do some things sufficiently good enough that somebody thinks that I was ready. So that was in 94, and years passed on. About 10 years later, I had an opportunity like the same, like Kailash. One person came into my life, and he explained me very well, exactly the way that Narad Muni explained to Kailash. I was just married then, I didn't have children by then. I listened to it this way and I left it this way. That's all. I listened to it this way and I left it this way. Years passed, the kids, I had 2 kids and they've grown now 10 or 11 years later, around 5 years ago. Okay, around 5 years ago. Then I had a second chance or a third chance probably. But this time, I bowed down. I said, I want to give it a little more thought process. You all heard Bhagavad Gita, right? Right? You all know Bhagavad Gita, right? What is it? Can somebody explain what Bhagavad Gita is? Sorry? Discussion between Arjuna and Krishna.
It is king of knowledge.
It is king of knowledge. Okay. So I had this love for Bhagavad Gita. I had this when I was a student of your age, I was reading Gandhi book, for what you call the autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, right? That he writes about Bhagavad Gita. So that's my first glimpses of Bhagavad Gita. Then I started reading Bhagavad Gita because Gandhi liked it more than anything else. So when I was 45, I had a message in my WhatsApp, just like 5 years ago, that there is a Bhagavad Gita class going on in my apartment complex. Small class. I told my wife and kids, let's see what this class is about. But they're talking about something, this time I want to listen. And that's it. That's it. The class helped me get to next level of exploring what is devotional life means. Get the point? So the early you start this, that's what happened in Kailash stage. He got an opportunity with an young boy. In our drama, they are very gracious enough. When a little boy, he was sitting like this. But when you're in mother's womb, you're sitting upside down, honestly. You're sitting upside down for 9 months. Anyway, so at every stage, there is that opportunity that's knocking your door, explaining what spiritual life is, explaining why you need devotional service. If you do not pick it up at this stage, when you come to a point like Kailash as an elderly man in the hospital, it's too late. It is very late because your body does not permit even to think about God. Think about devotional life. You know, that's the reason why you should make it a habit to start thinking about devotional life very early, very, very early in life. It has its own benefits, believe me, because it actually regularizes your life. It regularizes your thinking. It really regularizes your thinking. I have been I've always had this inclination of, devotional life, but for the last 5 years, I've come to a point where I'm doing a lot more with a better consciousness, both in the devotional life and in the general living life. As they introduced me. I work for a company called Aztec. I take care of their India operations. I'm head of this country head for this company, taking care of Hyderabad and Pune offices. What we do is, service industry to pharmaceutical, specifically vaccine. We were instrumental in bringing Pfizer vaccine and Covaxin to the market. And this happened only because of the way we were able to focus. And I attribute my majority of that focus to this lifestyle I have started to pick on in the last 5 years. though the devotional concept of thinking was there prior to that for last 10, 15 years, but it's only in the last 5, 6 years when I started to understand the difference between Arjuna doing the war with Bhagavad Gita and without Bhagavad Gita. Right? Right? It's the same thing. Arjuna has to do the war, he will do it. He would have done it. Without Bhagavad Gita also, he would have done it. Without Bhagavad Gita also, he might have won it. But the difference of doing that war with Bhagavad Gita and without Bhagavad Gita. In our case, the daily life we lead is same as that war Arjuna is doing. The goal there is to get the kingdom or get rid of the Duryodhana party. The same kind of goals you have. The same kind of goals you have. Honestly, each one of our goal is the same thing. You want to excel in what we are doing. You might excel with the devotional service or without devotional service, but excelling it with the consciousness of devotional consciousness and with God consciousness, with God thinking is going to be a lot more sweeter. I'm not saying it's going to be a lot more richer in terms of financially, but definitely it's going to be a lot more sweet. What is the difference between growing old? We all are going to grow old. We are all going to grow old. You have seen your own parents. You have seen your grandparents. I'm sure if you have seen somebody dying very closely, you would understand what I'm saying. Death is not an easy thing, but we all have to undergo. That can happen when you lead a life, successful life, with help of a guru like Narada Muni. All that Narada Muni is trying to do is, Kailash, you do whatever you want, but put some God into it. That's what Hare Krishna Mahamudra is trying to do. Put some God into what you are doing. Put some God into what you are eating. Put some God into what you are drinking. Put some God into what you are reading. Put some God into how you are spending your 24 hours a day. You get the point? If you can do that very early in life, then the rest of the life will be a cakewalk. Because you are not walking it all alone, but you are walking it with somebody else holding your hand. Every arrow that Arjuna hit came crossing Krishna's shoulders, and it has the potency, additional potency, the potency that's beyond Arjuna's capacity, and it did the purpose. Every act you are doing, everything you are doing will go in that way. I'll tell you one more example of what happened in my own life. I don't know how many of you are from Andhra Pradesh here, Telangana, Andhra, Telugu people, right? Most of you must have heard Potana Bhagavat, right? Have you heard Potana Bhagavat? You know, you have seen the old movie Potana? I have seen that movie as a young boy. In Potana Bhagavatam, in the story, the way it goes is, Potana is struggling to fill up a poem, paragraph. And Lord Rama comes in the form of Potana, and he writes that paragraph. And then Potana walks in and realizes Lord Rama has written this. You must have heard this story, right? I heard that story when I read it. When I'm an young engineer, in the early days of software coding, programming, and stuff like that, I was struggling with the program. So I was constantly praying, Rama, you did that for Potana. Are you going to do that for me also? I'm going out for lunch. Now, by the time I come back, will my program be completed? I'm struggling with this program for the last 2 days. I was thinking, will that happen in this day and age? Will that happen? It was nice in the movie, but will it ever happen? And I was challenging really. I was not even requesting or begging or this thing. Show me that these things will happen even in this day and age. You see what I'm saying? So you think it happened or not? Sorry? So I went, I was in a office, and I was going out for lunch, and I was driving my two-wheeler, and I was thinking the same thing all through, and I reached the mess, and I was thinking by now Rama would have come and finished the program basically. Okay, now I was thinking all the way and coming back, came back and upstairs, and I opened, the program is still the same. The program is still the same, nothing happened. Before I could curse or before I could start this thing, a senior walks by my desk and says, "What are you struggling with? Oh, this one, just go to that particular piece, you'll get help from there." Then I realized this is how it is. This is how it is. This is the result of the prayer. This is purely result of the prayer. The same senior fellow is sitting in my office in my next cubicle for the last 2 days, but he never crossed my desk or I never asked him for that. And I never realized he even knows the solution. But now, without me even doing anything, he walked to my desk and he saw the program on my on the screen and said, "Why are you struggling on this? Why didn't you do like me?" He didn't even say struggling. This is the best way to solve this is, yeah, go to that particular section, particular this thing, get that source code and put it here. Your problem will be resolved. That help will come only when you have that 100% trust on God. You might not see that it is happening around you. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Once you start thinking in God consciousness, or what happened? Sorry,
Some lag.
mouse under. Probably it's chance to listen to this, right? See, that's what it is. See, here there are a lot of plants with flowering with flowers. Those plants and those flowers crave for one thing, only one thing. Some devotee has to pick this and put it to the offer to the God. That's all plants are looking for a devotee. You would read this in Ahalya story. The stone was sitting there for years, just waiting for Rama to touch it as a stone. In the same way, if we cannot cultivate this perception, if we cannot make a habit of understanding this perception, then we have spent a life with a lost opportunity. You see what I'm saying? This is the whole scripture says, after many lifetimes, after many births, we have an opportunity to be born as a human being. You can think yourself, what are the chances scientifically also for you to exist as a human being? What are the chances? What are the odds of two things to meet and form an egg? Form a human body, and you are one of those few chances. And what is the purpose of it? Is it all about getting a job, getting a car, getting a wife, getting 2 children, and making them into IITs or IIMs, and then die all alone in a hospital? Is that what we call current success? I'm not saying you should not aim for it. There's nothing wrong in aiming for any of these things, but you have to take help of that supreme God to handle those situations and hold your hand and walk you to the grave with confidence. We all have to walk to the grave. There's no doubt about it, right? Does anybody here don't believe in death? No, right? We all have to die one day or other, but we don't know when we will die, how we will die. We don't know what the next 1 week is going to be. We don't know how many of will make it. But anyway, we're not going to go make it cynical about it. But our goal has to be beyond what Kailash has. That can happen only when we start looking for and ask for such Narada Munis to come into our life. Today we don't know, we can't have Krishna helping Arjuna kind of situation, but with our prayers, he can send those Narada Munis into our life that gives you the spiritual message. So this is the basic gist of the story, right? Any questions on this, or any general questions on what we are speaking so far? No? Enjoying? No? Is it seriously enjoying? Any questions? Or is it all clear, or it is all bouncing? All wide and bouncing. So if it's all clear, then we'll start. I'm going to ask you a few questions from the drama itself. So which one among the following denote the nature of Vaikunta? You know what Vaikunta means? The word from where Narada Muni has come, right? You know what Vaikunta means? Kunta means anxiety. Vaikunta means a world that has no anxiety at all. Okay, so this is what Narada Muni is trying to take Kailash to. A, freedom from birth, old age, disease, and death. Okay, somebody else said B. Did somebody say B? Freedom from service, work, speech, and thought, and it's a still world of silence. Is that what it is? Did anybody say C? Freedom from enmity, envy, hunger, and anger? You think it is C? Yes. A and C. Okay. Perishable personalities and imperishable commodities. Okay. So why don't you think it is D? That's the nature of the world we live in. Right? So our goal is not to, even the biggest, the richest man in this world will have to go through the 4 different things. What is that? He should have been born. He will grow old. He will have to go through COVID. If you don't put his mask, then he'll also go through death. Right? Nobody can escape. Nobody can escape from these 4 elements. Right? But there is the world that should be our goal. See, every day you're eating hostel food. But the day they declared holidays, even before the last period is over, you're running out to go and book the train and reach your mother's place. Yes or no? The home or not. Why? Why? Because that is a lot more comfortable, right? That's the, for now, let's think that's your Vaikunta. Because you have no more anxiety there. There's no more homework thing there, right? There's no more competition thing you want to worry about. Because your mom will make whatever you like, right? And that is where Narada Muni is trying to take you to a place where there is no anxiety. So Vaikunta is a place where you don't have to worry about birth, death, disease, or old age. And Vaikunta is a place where you are not worried about who's getting how many marks, what is his paycheck, what are his stock options, what is his grant, what is this nonsense, that nonsense. That also you don't have to worry about basically, because there you are not worried about hunger or anger. Yes, 1 and C are the right answers. Right? Let's go a little further into what do sadhus feel sorry for? So, what is the Narada Muni feeling sorry for? Kailash is not listening to his stories. Kailash is not listening to his word. These sadhus are coming as messengers of God, helping us do one thing. And what is it they're trying to help? What is it they're worrying for? Living entities have forgotten God and chasing for happiness in the world of Maya. So that's what Kailash is trying to do. He's been sitting in this world. He's been sitting in this world, and he's trying to search for happiness. So one thing you should observe in the drama, Kailash, in the body of the man, human being, in the body of animal, in the body of snake, all 3 he thought that's the best thing. That's another problem with this world. We think we are the best amongst the best. Everybody thinks that way. If not, we cannot live. If not, we cannot. When you see somebody, we know he's better than us, but we'll still think, oh, in this aspect, I'm better than him. We will search for one aspect of where we think we are better than him. And then we feel satisfied. We pat ourselves and we think we are much greater than him. So that's the nature of this world. That in the same way, living entities are, that's okay, collecting money and goods, constructing buildings, that's what we do in factories, and have no time to offer some selfless service to the society. No, living entities do offer service to society, but sadhus feel sorry that we are doing this service for another human mind, another human being into the world, but we should do that. Beyond that, we should think beyond that, and we should be with God consciousness. All the suffering human beings are unaware how to clean their hearts through the chanting of Lord's holy name. and return back to the Godhead. And this is one thing that sadhus feel sorry for, right? So what do you think are the answers? Sorry? A, C, and D. Living entities. I think how much more time I have, boss? Who's keeping watch? Okay. Living entities don't know how to end their miseries in the material world by taking Krishna consciousness. This is something you should do. Very early in the life, you should get into consciousness, because as you grow, it gets difficult to make new habits. How many of you went through your own MSET process or IIT JEE process or something, and where whatever you achieved is putting you here. If you ever look back and observe, people with less bad habits, people who are able to manage their habits, are the ones who are winning in the competition. Competition is all about habits, in all honesty. Everybody reads, everybody studies, everybody puts their hard work. While putting that hard work, how many of them are thinking about a one poster or a cinema page 3 magazine, page 3 in the newspaper, and then studying, versus how many are able to focus while studying? It is how their mind is being tuned, or how they are habituated. Some of you must have taken 1 year, 2 years to hit the same result. That happens only when you are able to manage those habits. Believe me, the competition is all about habits. Unless you take very early in life understanding this, when you come to my years, see, when you're going top of a hill, you're standing at the bottom of the hill, and you want to climb up the hill, you don't know how many ways are there to go to the top of the hill, right? Only when you go to the top of the hill, you'll realize, oh, that path is better than this. After 40 years, if you realize, oh, I should have done that when I'm in 20s, the 45th hour, if he realizes he has to bat better, the game is over in the first 5 hours. The power play time, right? This is the power play time. You have a lot of energy, small boundary walls, nobody there to catch you, whatever you're doing. If you don't make use of that power play time, slog hours is very difficult. There are no more wickets to hold you, right? This is how cricket game goes, right? That's what makes a person better captain, who can manage those things, right? And you are captain for your own life. If you don't plan your 30, 40 years with the help of some God consciousness, with the help of discipline, then you can bat better, right? That's the difference. That's the difference between a classic player and a normal player. What's the difference between a classic player and a normal cricket player? A classic player knows not only how to hit, but how now, whatever ball not to attempt. If he does not know which ball to let go loose, if he lets his ego against the ball, and if he hits every ball, he's out. That's the difference between Tendulkar or anybody else. That's the difference between a classic player and a normal player. What makes a player classic is that who can overcome that bad habits, right? That can happen only when you have a disciplined life. That disciplined life is following the principles, the regulatory principles that are being given by philosophers, that's being given by God consciousness thinking. Once you follow that, that is what helps you understand what step to make, what step not to make. And then each one of you can become a classic player in your own life. Anyway, so if you go down, life is divided into 4 parts. The first 25 years are to learn and grow. This is what all our Shastras are saying. And the next 25 to 50 years are the years you engage and earn. And then 50 to 75 years are where the time to detach and attach. Then 75 to 100 years are pray and prepare. Prepare for what? The end game. Preparation for the end game, right? This is what it is all about. So what do you learn? This is the time to learn, to see what habits you want to pick on and grow. This is whether you like it or not, you'll grow, basically, right? Then you will but you can't become Salman Khan or Shah Rukh Khan, but you'll definitely grow, right? Then 25 to 50 is the time you have to engage, and yes, you have to engage in picking on those good habits. Yes, you have to earn for your own living, but that earning should happen with help of God consciousness. Then once you cross 50, you should get to a habit of detaching yourself from your earnings. That's what Kailash failed. Even when his children are ready to pick up on his business, he is worried. He's worried. They do not know how to protect my wealth, because he thinks that is his wealth. The more he's attached, more he attached, then he is going to take it, a birth that is going to protect it like a dog and a snake, basically. So the detachment happens only when you can attach yourself to something. That attachment should happen by the time 50. If you're not there, which means you're on a wrong path. And that attachment is the God consciousness. That cannot happen. That cannot start at when you're 50, because it has to start unless you engage before in the years of 25 to 50. The detachment won't happen. Until the detachment happens, your mind is not praying. It has to pray involuntarily. In the early ages, voluntary effort, you need to put conscious effort. By the time, but at the end of it, you have to unconsciously think of God. Unconsciously, you have to do prayer. Only then you are prepared. You're prepared boldly to face the final exam. Unless you're prepared for the exam, you can't face the exam. Whether you prepare or not, you have to sit in the examination hall and you have to go through it. And only if you're prepared, then only you'll get to the next stage, right? So these are the 4 stages that every Shastra is dictating. So let's see what is the problem with Kailash. Okay, he was a non-devotee who had no time for God. Probably that's true. He had time. He has time, but he was attached to enjoying life, making money, because he was an atheist. Probably he had time, but I'm not sure if he was an atheist. He worshipped Lakshmi Narayana regularly and faithfully as a pure devotee. He went to temple but only prayed for material benefits from the Lord. Definitely number D is correct. So he's a devotee, probably, but he was only praying for material benefits. So you see what I'm saying? You can pray. You see, today, that's what we do prayers. Like only during examination time, God comes in, the extra puja, extra abhishekam, all those things we remember. Right? Because is it because you are doing it for the love of the God? No, it's more love of the passing through the exam, getting the promotion stress, right? So this is a transactional prayer, transactional love to the God. You have to go beyond that. You have to go beyond that. It is important that you understand you have to go beyond that. Okay? So then poised materialist, good people, you can think, I'm a very good boy, I'm a very good person, I do everything good. Why do I have to pray? No, you have to pray because being good does not just help to get through the last gate of life. Are different from the devotees because they are only concerned about material life. I'll just go through the correct answers. Okay, they have piety and they use all the materials they have exclusively in Krishna service. Okay, that's boys materialists are different from devotees of Lord Krishna in the sense that they have all the piety, but they use all the materials they have exclusively in Krishna service. Probably some answer is wrong here, but we'll go further. All right. So what is now here? There's eight questions, and you're going to tell me. Engage and learn is in which age group? D. Okay. Pray and prepare. C. Pray and prepare is D. Preparation is last stage. Learn and grow. A. Detach and attach. C. Okay. Chant and prepare one's mind to awaken loving remembrance of Supreme God. ABCD. Okay. Increase spiritual activities and delegate material activities to grown-up children. This is more or less on the C, where it is you detach from material and then you engage yourself in spiritual activities. Number 7, involve oneself and family devotional activities to increase bhakti sukriti. This is B. B onwards it should start. It has to start from B onwards. I think that's the right answer, but we'll check. Cultivate spiritual knowledge and spiritual training for maturing in Bhakti Yoga practice. Oh, that's to start from A itself is what they're saying. Okay. Right? Probably, as you said, some of them can be in C and D and B and C like that. Yeah. So bottom line is you get an idea what we're trying to do here. It has to be a hobby. No, it has to be a habit that has to start very early. What's the difference between a hobby and habit?
We want to do something.
Okay, habit.
Habit is that we do daily.
So hobby is something you want to do it in your spare time. Habit is something that it will consume your regular time. It is you become its hobby. You become habits hobby, right? So God is not a hobby. Devotional service is not a hobby. It has to become a habit, right? So unconsciously you should make it a habit. So now again we're going to fill in this A B C D E F G H I from the words above. Narada, like sadhus, come in this world to remind Kailash-like fellows of their what?
Spiritual duty.
Of their spiritual duty, just as a maybe there's a kid or a boy or something like that. Sorry, like a child, yeah, is more interested in playing all day and not studying. Okay, yeah. Similarly, people in this world are busy in rat race. We have seen rat race literally, and don't give importance to spiritual duties in worldly life. Exactly. Thus, they spend their life in vain, like dogs or cats, and die a what kind of death? Okay, inglorious death. When Srila Prabhupada went to the West, he saw very playing checkers, very young people playing checkers and goal for several hours in a day and not paying heed to God, to Bhagavad Gita. So this is what is expected out of young kids like you. You should pick this book. You should pick this book and try to dissect it, bisect it. It doesn't matter what you divide into how many sects, but it should become part of every cell in your body. Right? All right, let's go a few more questions. Soul can be comforted only by spiritual food. What is spiritual food? Just like your body needs material food, the soul in the body needs spiritual food, right? And Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. Then no balance in life means, okay, we didn't talk about this story much, but yeah, keeping busy in body comforts. So balancing in life means no balance in life means polishing the case and ignoring the parrot within, serving the car and not feeding the driver. So you're only taking care of the body and not taking care of the soul is something like that, basically. Keeping busy in bodily comforts one after another. Okay, so we'll just quickly go through the next. So life is all about managing all the three. You have to manage your family, you have to manage your professional life, you have to manage your devotional life. If you cannot do that, if you're just worried about your professional life, you'll end up as a Kailash. We don't know the next Kailash is what it is. Is it four-legged or no leg? Right? We want no leg, not no leg like a snake, but we don't have to be like, no, we don't have to depend on legs, but you have to be a body that can go to Vaikuntha, like a dhota, you should go into Vaikuntha and serve God. Okay, with that I'm concluding the class. If there are any questions, we'll answer it. Right? Any questions? No questions, I'm going to ask questions. It's okay. Yeah, it looks, yeah. Is there somebody who wants to talk? Ask. Because I'm sure you all had a long day because we had a working day today, right? Most of you had a working day, and then probably from hostel, then we had a 40-minute drive or something, right? But still, if you have any questions, we can talk. Anything new? Did anybody feel that you have learned something new, or it's all something that you already heard? Somebody a little louder. కొత్తగా నేర్చుకున్న విషయంలాగా ఏమనిపిస్తుందంటే అంత పాత విషయం చెప్తున్నారు అనిపిస్తుంది. All right. Then. If there's nothing much, then we'll close.
So thank you, Subbarao sir, for such an enlivening class, like explaining the practical aspects of the drama, like whatever has happened in his life, and also like whatever happens in our students' life also, like the urgency to take the devotional life. So he has explained very briefly. So thank you so much. So we'll thank sir with a big round of applause. So we'll conclude here, and the program for today is has ended here. So there are quick announcements to make. So so tomorrow also we will be having a drama by a team of students here. So based on the drama, so you are requested to make presentations. Okay, so we'll provide you tomorrow. We'll make you into the groups, and we'll provide you the chats and all. So you can make the presentations and you need to present. So that will be a task for tomorrow. For as of now, so we will have